Hi, welcome. I'm going to do something special today. I want to go through the World Cup as the World Cup's upon us, and I'm going to be doing a series where we're talking to fans from around the world, from particular countries, and we want to kind of showcase what their team's expectations are, something about the team, and some background about the country that they're representing. So with that, I'm going to bring in my first guest, which is Murat, and he's going to be telling us about Turkey. So firstly, welcome, Murat.
Thank you, Yusuf.
So what we're going to cover is I wanted to kind of touch base on like what's your views on Turkey in the World Cup, and I did present. I do have some bit of AI preparation for this, so I just wanted to kind of just showcase this deck here about is it correct, right? So firstly, some facts about Turkey. The capital is Ankara. The main language is Turkish. The flag. That's not I always say the correct flag, but this is the closest representation that I could get without any kind of like copyright. But it's basically a red background with a crescent moon and a star. And I think that they do have a chance, but I wouldn't say that they're favorite, right? So take it away. Tell us something a bit later about Turkey, Turkiye, which is firstly, that's the first.
I know it's hard, but that is the correct name, Turkiye. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you give some background
with the Turkey name, it's normal. But I believe 2 or 3 years back, or recently, officially it is Turkiye now.
Okay. So so tell us a little bit about Turkiye, about the capital. Because everyone knows about Istanbul or what here Istanbul, but I think for many people they don't know Ankara as the capital. So just some basic facts about Ankara and so maybe some known history or pop facts about it.
Yeah. So Turkey is between 2 continents, Europe and Asia. We call it where the continental meets, and it is Istanbul. So Istanbul has an Anatolian side and also European side. Again, as you mentioned, many people think that Istanbul is the head city, the capital, but Ankara in reality. But you can think of it like Washington, D.C. versus New York. So Istanbul is more shiny, the population is higher, the industry is in Istanbul. So it is not official capital, but it is like the industrial capital of Turkey. I can say that.
Okay, I guess it's like, I think in the US is very common, right? Because you would have, when we talk about like states, so for example, I use Florida as an example. Everyone knows Miami, but the state capital is, I believe, Tallahassee, right? Or is it Jacksonville? That's a bit poor geography there, but I think it is definitely not Miami is the state capital. And, like actually living in East California, where I'm based, right? So everyone knows Los Angeles, everyone knows San Francisco, but the state capital is Sacramento. So I guess it's the same thing, Ankara being like the political capital. And then for, I guess, the cultural, industrial, everything else is Istanbul.
Right, that's correct.
Okay, so coming up to the World Cup, I know you're excited. I know you're a bit of a super fan, so this is why I want to kind of get this together. Is that tell us something about the football team? Is qualification part to qualification, and what do you think the expectations are for the World Cup?
Yeah, in Turkey, football. So I'm not calling soccer. I'm calling football. I believe it is a better representation of the game. It's a passion. So people love football. So I know with online newspapers, we don't have the paper newspaper anymore. But in old days, think that there was newspapers, and people were starting to read the newspaper from the end because the football page was there. So that is identifying actually how it is. And there, again, it is the top sport in Turkey, and it is really important in the life of many people. And now we are in World Cup, and it is the 3rd time. So we are not usually in the World Cup. We don't have that chance. So this is a rare opportunity, and everyone is focused on that. I don't know if you saw that online, but when sending the team to US 2 days before, there was cars behind the bus of Turkish national team, and it was like one from one side of the Bosphorus to the other side. So lots of people sending the team to US. So there is huge support behind the team, I can say.
Yeah, I saw that video, and at first I thought, like, when I first saw it, I was like, "Is that in the US?" Because I was like, "Wow, there's a lot of fans." But definitely, the passion's there, and I'm going to touch upon this later. But I think it's a good time to mention it. Is that being a Liverpool fan, recently we played Galatasaray. We played them 3 times this year, and I remember one of the standout statements from the first game was one of the players was like. Said to the other fans, "Is it always like this? Is it always this passionate?" And I think whenever I've seen like Turkish football, the fans are always singing very loud, and as you mentioned, that one word is passion. So just to kind of touch on that, like before we get into the domestic side of the Turkish league, tell us about the team. Who are the notable players? Now, AI says. I don't know if I can't pronounce it correctly, so take it away, tell us.
Hakan Çalhanoğlu, I believe, the captain. So the rank of FIFA as of now, as of today, is 22. The Turkish team's ranking. Our coach is Montella from Italy, and our captain is Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who is playing for Inter. So he's a very experienced guy, and he grown up in Germany, but he chose Turkish national team to play, and he's really an important figure, not just inside the games, outside as well. So he is very important. And in World Cup, we are in Group D, and in Group D, our opponents are USA, the host team. So they have the advantage of being at home. Turkiye, we are rising star. So in Euro 2024, we were the quarterfinalists. So you can expect Turkiye as a dark horse for this cup. So because we have a really deep, young core team. We are climbing, and again, there is some experienced players. On top of that, there are players like Arda Güler, who is playing for Real Madrid. We have Kenan Yıldız playing for Juventus, and these guys are 20, 21 years old. So they are so young, but they are so talented as well. And the other opponents are Australia and Paraguay. So the group looks like an easy group. So most probably USA or Turkey will win it, and second one will be the other one. So the last game is between USA and Turkey. So again, my guess is Turkey will win the league, but if Turkey will not, then it will be USA, most probably, because of the home advantage as well.
I believe you're going to the games, right?
Yes, all the games. I already bought the tickets. So first 3 games, one in Vancouver against Australia on 3rd of June in local time. On 19th of June, it will be in San Francisco against Paraguay. And last game will be in 25th of June in Los Angeles against USA. And again, I'm feeling like we will finish the league as in the first place. And I already bought the ticket for the next round for the Group D1 winners, Pat. So,
where's that?
In San Francisco.
Okay.
I believe June 1. Yeah.
Because I know there's I think maybe the second place is in Dallas, right?
Yes. It is the other option. But if we go with the second place, then in next round is fine. The Dallas part is fine. But if we go to the next one, most probably it will be Argentina as opponent. So it is better not to go that path.
Definitely. So I actually do want to touch upon Arda Güler and Kenan Yıldız, because I know, like, if you speak to most people in European football outside of Turkey about the Turkish players, these are the two names that's going to come up. Now, I know the last game that Real Madrid had in the Champions League, Arda Güler was Real Madrid's best player. He's got 2 goals. So what's his position in the team in terms of importance for attacking creativity? Because he's a very different profile to Kenan Yıldız. So yeah, explain that balance there.
Yeah. Again, they're 2 different profiles. Both are 20, 21 years old. Kenan Yıldız grown up in Germany, and I believe his mother is German. His father is Turkish, but he chose the Turkish side. Even his Turkish is not perfect, but he's a very nice guy. And both Arda and Kenan focused on the football. So they are not, some young guys, even in their best days of football life, they are focusing some other things as well. So they are really cool guys, and they are stars, but they are not acting like, okay, I'm the boss in the team. So they are good team players as well. Kenan is left winger, and he flows in that. And when he finds his paths, he scores lots of great goals, and he's doing that in Juventus as well. And I believe he is number 10. Even with the jersey in Juventus. So it is not easy for someone at that age taking that jersey number in Juventus. So that is nice. And Arda, Real Madrid, everyone knows. And on top of what you say, I believe in European Championship, Champions League, they chose him the young star of this year. So he was really great in the tournament, and I believe they are also aware that this is the best place they can show their talents. So, okay, they are playing in some best teams, but being in World Cup is something else. Every player dreams.
Yeah, because I would say that with at Real Madrid, Arda Güler is a face in the crowd. There's a lot of stars there. There's Mbappe, there's Vinny Jr., there's Jude Bellingham, so a number of players there. So to stand out from that group is a bit more difficult than it is for playing for Turkey in the World Cup, because when he's playing, I guess the eyes would be on Kenan and Arda. So what other players that would you say is good players that are not as well known as them, like that will stand out, or that the team plays through? Who are the other key players?
Right. So other elite spin of the team is captain. The captain is Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who is playing for Inter. He controls the midfield. Ferdi Kadıoğlu, who is playing in Premier League. He is also a great figure. Orkun Kökçü, he also grown up in Netherlands. So the important, I'm mentioning Germany, Netherlands, these countries. The difference is when they grown up in those countries, the basic trainings are much better. So in Turkey, there is passion, but the mentality of Germans and Netherlands is different. So they are much hardworking, working like a machine. So and this is mix of both. So having some European mindset plus Turkish mindset, and if it works better way. So again, these guys are also very important. And on top of that, Montella, our coach in the team, is organized, confident, and he likes the attack. It is funny, we don't have a number 9, a good number 9. So, but everyone can score in the team. So it is also difficult for other teams to understand the mentality there and defense it. So many people say, okay, we don't have the forward. So from one perspective, it is bad. But again, anyone can score in the team. So that is a little different.
That is also good as well because a lot of teams sometimes they may have one good striker. I remember, I think it's Euro '96 or Euro 2000 or something, and Poland had a striker, I think Tony Polster, and they were trying to play everything through him, even though the rest of the team sometimes got in better positions. But the way the coach set up the team was, find our main striker because he has the most experience and the most chance for us to win. But when you have, like what you're saying is with Turkiye, is that when you have those options, it means that from the team that you're playing, there isn't for example, a target. So any team they're playing, they're not saying we have to cut out this player, right? Because by the sounds of things is that they're going to use the whole team to kind of score versus only finding a specific route to find one player to kind of score that goal. So that I think that's going to actually help because it makes the rival teams set up a bit more challenging. So final thoughts or predictions. Where do you think Turkey would end up in this World Cup?
So my guess, the possible best path is becoming the first in the group. Then we will play with a third place team. It can be Sweden, Ecuador, Senegal, or even Canada is an option. But I believe we will pass that as well. So it is last 32. Then most likely our opponent will be Belgium, which is the Group G winner. Again, these are likelihoods, but again, this is my guess. And in quarterfinal, Spain will be our opponent, and I believe it is really hard to pass them because in group games we were in the same group, and in Turkey, I believe they win 6-0 or something like that. So it was not a good day for sure. And in the next game, it was 2-2. But both teams didn't have the best squads in that game. So there is always a possibility, but Spain is one of the candidates who will take the cup, and maybe the best candidate to take the cup. So I believe a quarterfinal will be something nice. If it becomes half final, then perfect. But let's see.
Yeah, I think from my teams that I'm looking at that win the World Cup, I think so obviously you mentioned Spain is a prime candidate. I believe Portugal, France. I think that they would be considered the, I guess you say, historic favorites.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it being a cup game, cup tournament, being so many different teams, because now we have 48 teams, I don't see it going to be that easy because, again, you're playing a match once every 3 or 4 days. So with that, depending upon how much freshness you have, the other thing as well is that in some of the areas, in some of the games, some of the states, like in the southern states of the US and Mexico, the temperature is going to be very hot. Again, for the European teams, maybe a bit difficult, a bit more challenging. So the teams that are more equipped to play in the heat may be better off. And there's always surprises at the World Cup, like what can happen. I think that there's going to be some teams from Africa that's going to go very far because one, they're more adapted to the heat, especially what we're seeing right now. And the other thing is that, as we saw in the AFCON earlier this year, the quality of football is getting much better. Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire beat France recently. And I think the difference is, before when we say like, oh, these teams are like up here and the rest of that, and it's getting far more closer. I mean, even like nobody was going to predict that Bosnia was going to make the World Cup, but they beat Italy, right? And Italy is like, at least when I was growing up, Italy was a staple. It was like Italy and World Cup. There was like Brazil, Italy, Argentina were considered like the royalty of the World Cup. And now Italy has failed to qualify for, I think, the last 3. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm getting very excited for it actually as it starts. And you mentioned about USA, their team training facility is like very close. Where they're training, there's a balloon, an orange balloon in Irvine, and when that balloon goes up, I can see it, right? And it has a Team USA logo on there. So have been seeing the area because we sometimes go to the park for walking, and we see the training facility being built up. So it's the excitement's begin for the World Cup. So I'm very excited about that. I kind of want to pivot now to the Turkish domestic league, and I know you're a super fan of I forget the name. So tell us the name.
Yeah.
So tell us the name. So sorry, tell us the name and tell us something about the team and how you're affiliated with it.
Okay. So Kocaelispor is the team I'm supporting. So many people doesn't know Kocaelispor. So when they hear about Turkiye, they are hearing Galatasaray, they are hearing Fenerbahçe, Beşiktaş, maybe Trabzonspor. And these are the most known teams. But the team I'm supporting is Kocaelispor. So we were in European Cups before, actually, in 2001, I guess, 2001. We beat Arsenal 4-1. So, and we got a cup. Yeah, it was a friendly game, but there was a cup in the end, Swarovski Cup. So. We were really a good team in history. Then, because of high debt, we relegated up to amateur league. But we have a huge supporter base, and with the support of the supporters, and we paid the debt. And now we are back in Super League last year, and no one was expecting it, for Kocaelispor to succeed in Super League, because when you come from down, it is not really easy. But we finished the league in 10th place. 10th may not look so well, but it is really good for a team that is trying to stabilize in Super League.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be our second year after the promotion in the Super League, and it was, and the supporter base is really magnificent. So when you go to a game, you will see that. But think that all the stadium is singing the same song together. So it is not easy to see in other countries. So people are, again, passionate. They will give their last money to watch that game. I believe Argentina is similar for this, and Turkey is same as well. So football is really important in the life of many, and same for my team, the Kocaelispor supporters.
Yeah, because I've noticed that recently when we talk about players who are getting older in Europe, the example is Mohamed Salah. Obviously, he's left Liverpool, and they were talking about which league is he going to go next. So they were talking about the Saudi league, very common, obviously, for because they're trying to grow their league. And then what was interesting was there was, I think it was either Besiktas or
Galatasaray, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not too. I forgot the name of the
also
team.
an option. Okay, it can be Beşiktaş, Fenerbahçe, Galatasaray. Generally, three teams have the money to hire him.
And that was the one that's what stood out, was the fact that the reports were saying that they would be able to pay him the money, and that's where I was kind of surprised, because when we talk about European football, where the money is spent, obviously we know the English Premier League is where a lot of money is because of the viewership and the history of the league. Then you talk about like the Spanish league, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Serie A, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Bundesliga, Bayern Munich, and then but now I think the Turkish league, I think, is becoming stronger, because there was, in the last few years, Victor Osimhen was there, and a number of...
For Victor Osimhen, they paid $75 million. So I couldn't imagine. I don't know how they are making that money. That's also something interesting to discuss. And I have opinions, but I don't have data there. But 75 million just for the transfer, and on top of that, maybe they are paying 25 million to him. So I don't know where that money is coming, but yeah, the money become really huge in Turkish league.
So that's where I'm coming to, is like, do you foresee, like, in the next 5 to 10 years, do you see Turkey, the Turkish league, becoming one of the favorites to compete for European trophies? Now, obviously, the Premier League right now, their Conference League and Europa Cup, they're winning almost every year because of the Strength League. But do you see teams from Turkey beginning to challenge for that honor and becoming far more serious competition?
Yeah, I can say yes and no to this one, because there are 4 teams who has the money that I described, and they can, for example, they can transfer even Victor Osimhen, so, and lots of high quality players. But the rest of the league, for example, my team is like 20 million in total dollar. So think that one team has Osimhen, $100 million, and the other team, full squad, full year, is 20 million. So, and when there is so much unbalance, then they are not ready for Europe games. So that balance. So I know Federation is doing some stuff, changing the model of distribution of the money coming from the broadcast, etc., to make it better. But if there can be a little more balance, then yes, I agree. But with current situation, again, if you don't have cool opponents in your league, then in Europe it is really hard to become successful, because you are not ready for
There
that.
is an exception. There is an exception to that rule, and that's Paris Saint-Germain, right? Because I think Paris Saint-Germain, their salary or their wage bill is, I think, the team alone is 70 or 80% the rest of the entire French league, right? So what they can pay their players, the other competition don't even come close. However, the grassroots, I think, in France is where they're able to kind of get competition, like the teams like Monaco, Lens, Reims, and other teams are Marseille and all these other teams. They're able to, the youngsters are playing more and more, and they're beginning to be identified and picked up, and then help strengthen the squad. Maybe something like, as you mentioned, if the passion is that much in Turkey, then maybe you're going to have more fans come up, because as well, like, the likes of like how Arda Güler, Kenan Yildiz, right? He's from Germany, but Arda's originally from Turkey, right? So he
from Ankara,
and these are kind of examples, right? I think there is a lot of it's happening, and even actually interesting in world football, this is happening a lot, because if you look at, obviously, the French team has always been like that, the makeup of players being born from different places. Like I was watching the game, was it yesterday or the day before, about France versus Ivory Coast, and you had Desiree Doué playing for France and his brother playing for Ivory Coast. So we're beginning to see more and more of this stuff happen, because I think there's players who represent, like, Doué is not only family, the family split. And even like with like when I was growing up in there was very rare English players who were playing overseas outside of the UK. There was every now and then, there was, I think, Gary Lineker did a year, Gascoigne did a year in Italy. Most of them, they didn't travel well. But now we're beginning to see far more, like Jude Bellingham was in Germany, now he's in Spain, not really played in Premier League. You have, like for Liverpool, we had a defender, Jarrell Quansah, he's going and been doing well in Germany. There's a player at Liverpool as well, Tyler Morton, went to France and did well in League One. So we're beginning to see players now no longer being exclusive to a single country. They're traveling around, they're taking the opportunities. And I do think as well that when I spent about Turkey in the 5 to 10 years, I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see more leagues. So, for example, the Saudi League, I think, is going to become more and more popular because of what Cristiano Ronaldo has done in that league. and also MLS, because we're beginning to see far more popularity. You know, over here, obviously, World Cup is going to make a big difference in terms of the next generation. And also, when I walk around, I see a lot of Inter Miami jerseys. I do see some Haaland jerseys. I see some Mohamed Salah jerseys. So we're beginning to see far more soccer jerseys in the US, and even some of the NBA players, like Victor Wembanyama, was talking about the PSG game, right? And then Josh Hart, who's in the for the Knicks, he was talking about, because he's a Chelsea fan, he's talking about like Arsenal losing. So with that, I think we're going to start seeing more and more of the MLS getting higher up. But I think it's going to be a bit more difficult because of the structure of how the league's set up here. Because in the other leagues, the teams are individuals, right? And then they kind of they're a separate entity. But I think the MLS, you have to kind of have approval from the league. The league has a lot of say in terms of the players, regulations.
So you cannot transfer anyone you like. There is a salary cap that you can. So it is a business model, but I also agree. So it is also a blocker to progress as of now.
Yeah. So I think I kind of like with any questions that I have for the World Cup and the Turkiye League and the football. Do you have any questions, or you want to get any more predictions or anything like that?
No, thank you very much, Yusuf.
And thank you. So thank you for your time, Murat. And one thing I would like to do is that maybe for the next, before we get the games, we may look at doing some predictions. I know you will be traveling to the games, but if we can meet up again to talk about some predictions before the games, or tomorrow I'm speaking to a United States fan for the game. So maybe before the game, before USA and Turkey, we can have a 3-way conversation, see what you think is going to happen in the game and get your outcome. So thanks you again, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.